Hello all! It's been 2 years since our last East-West Rail video, and I think it's time for an update. Stay tuned. For those that are new to the channel, what is East-West Rail? Well, it's a nationally significant and strategic railway project which aims to deliver roughly 80 miles of rail connection between the cities of Oxford and Cambridge, connecting towns and cities in Oxfordshire, Buckinghamshire, Bedfordshire, Bedford Borough Council, Huntingdonshire and also Cambridgeshire, as well as connecting many other London-centric routes in an east-west fashion, hence the name. The origins of the railway line date back to the 1850s, predominantly for passenger and freight services as it avoided London, which was frequently congested. Known as the Varsity Line because of its connections to the two major universities, it played a huge part in World War II and acted as the main trunk route to connect the central of England to the coast, avoiding London, which had been heavily bombed in the process. However, soon after, costs had increased significantly and sections of the railway began closing and were eventually abandoned. Most of the line had closed by 1967, but after 20 years or so, the Oxford to Bicester section reopened and the Varsity Line remains largely disbanded to this day. But no more. Well, possibly anyway. There were plans to revive the line which were brought up by a consortium called East-West Rail, initially conceived by Ipswich Council out of all places, which is way out on the coast in Suffolk. Why, you might think? Well, it's important later on. Anyway, 2007 was a big year as a study showed that East-West Rail had a good business case that could be put forward. And a year later in 2008, the Department for Transport responded to an e-petition supporting East-West Rail. 3 years later, however, the Chancellor at the time, George Osborne, announced £270 million would be committed to develop the link and do some initial studies between Oxford and Bedford. By 2012, when the world was meant to end, the government put it inside its transport strategy. Studies were done and it was announced that East-West Rail would be constructed in 3 key stages. If we go to stage 1 first, this is the split between 2 bits. Phase 1, which is what it's being called, is already done and completed as of 2016. And this is an upgrade of the existing rail link between Oxford and Bicester. For those of you that know Chiltern, which you can check out here, will already know that they operate a route between Bicester and Oxford from London. So this is a quick win. Phase 2 of stage 1, which is what's being developed now, is to extend it further to Bletchley and Milton Keynes. It would involve using retired railway lines, so again planning wouldn't be too difficult, and work is underway and expected to complete in 2024 or 2025. There will be a new station at Winslow, a new high-level station at Bletchley, as well as a new platform at Aylesbury Vale Parkway. This section is estimated to come in at just over £1 million according to the latest documents. Stage 2 would be to extend the line to Bedford using the existing Marston Vale line. A fair bit of upgrading will be needed, particularly on platforms and new track, as they will need to dual the whole section. But once complete, the plan would be to eventually run 2 trains an hour between Oxford and Milton Keynes, as well as an hourly service from Oxford to Bedford. And let's not forget an additional hourly service from Aylesbury to Milton Keynes. Stage 3 is the final connection stage of the East-West Rail project and completes the train journey from Oxford to Cambridge. This is probably the most uncertain and likely to be the most expensive section of the whole project, as it's a completely new link with new railway tracks and none of the land is safeguarded, so they will have to go out and purchase this bit of land from various farm owners, landowners, whoever it may be. And what you can also see is that the route won't actually look like this. This is in fact 5 different route options which have been developed, and these 2 options are the preferred ones that are coming out at the moment. It still needs approval from government, and in terms of any additional funding, it needs that as well. So what are the expected benefits? The Oxford to Cambridge region is expected to be one of the fastest growing in the UK, and by not having a substantial transport plan in place, it will lead to more cars and in turn possibly a worse carbon impact. It also saves people travelling on slower bus journeys and those needing to take the train into London to then go back out, which is in terms really expensive and also congested. Boosting the economy through local growth and job opportunities is of course something East West Rail will help to promote, and it has a good amount of information around the benefits and cons as well of East West Rail, which I strongly recommend you check out their site in the link below. Whilst it might all sound quite positive, it may be another 10 or 20 years before we even see any of this come to fruition, and the costs are likely to go upwards of £1 billion. So is it worth it? So what are the next steps? Well, it looks like stage 1 is on its way to completion, stage 2 is well underway, but it will still need some detailed plans to be submitted to government. But it's really stage 3 which will take some time and money in thought. It will need to go through various consultations, so keep your eyes out on that. It will need discussions between various individuals, and these are members of the public, local authorities, Network Rail, a huge bunch of people, and also understand new connections coming out, such as that with HS2. There are no current plans to have a station or a proper link here, but there might be an option down the line. What are your thoughts on East West Rail? Let me know below, and again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.